Hillary Clinton's baseless smear against Tulsi Gabbard has backfired hilariously, and it puts me in a good mood because you can see my bias, right? I like Tulsi Gabbard, and now there's really good news in this front, and the baseless smears from the New York Times, yes, because they tried to protect Hillary and Hillary Clinton, are backfiring wonderfully. But the story goes beyond this. In reality, I've actually got a couple different stories here where it looks like we're seeing the orange man bad media narrative finally start becoming too cumbersome for mainstream leftists. Several high-profile left-wing personalities, I don't want to say they're overtly like far left, but they're left, you know. They've come out and said, enough, right? We just had this major historical moment. Trump came out, made an announcement about this American operation in a particular location I can't talk about because YouTube will get mad at me. But we took out one of the most dangerous men in the world. And all of a sudden, you actually get celebrities angry at Trump. And this was too much for the moderate and leftist individual to bear, where they said, wait, you can't give Trump 1 day? Seriously, 1 day where this major historical moment happened, and the Washington Post refers to this guy as an austere scholar. Bloomberg says he's a religious man. Like they just, one guy, I can't even, we'll get into it. I got to be careful about how I talk about it because this is YouTube. But one dude refers to this, the most dangerous man in the world, as not actually a coward. They're so desperate to hate Trump. They're so desperate to push the orange man bad narrative that people finally said, stop. Trump deserves this one. And I have one celebrity, Jamie Lee Curtis, I believe, deleted a tweet after some high-profile individuals said, are you joking? Like, okay, so basically the gist of this video, it's going to be fun. We're going to look at how Hillary Clinton's smear has backfired first and foremost. It puts me in a good mood. And then how I've got a couple stories from high-profile individuals on the left saying, stop, like we're done with this. So let's get started. The first thing you're seeing here, New York Times stealth edited the original story about Hillary Clinton to claim that she didn't say the Russians were grooming Tulsi, but that Republicans were. There was no correction, no notice. This was done quietly. So this was about a week ago that I noticed this. The original story, everybody knew. Hillary Clinton claimed Russia was grooming Tulsi Gabbard. Now, at first, you had a bunch of Trump supporters saying, I can understand why that's frustrating because Trump has been smeared relentlessly. So there was kind of this Trump supporters patting us Tulsi supporters on the back saying, I hear you. I feel your pain. And so interestingly, you have Tulsi, who's very progressive, and Trump supporters angry about the same thing. But then they flipped it and made it worse for the Republicans. They actually changed the story without notice, the New York Times, to claim it was the Republicans grooming Tulsi. And there it is. And now us Tulsi supporters are sitting there going like, whoa, now they're coming after you guys. If you really wanted to make sure that Tulsi's fans, disaffected liberals, moderates, and Trump supporters came together, this is how you do it. But this is not the backfire. You see, the backfire is actually much, much better than that. It's about Tulsi's polls skyrocketing and putting her in front of some of the mainstream candidates. I kid you not. Before I show you, though, I'm going to self-promote. Go to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There's multiple ways you can do it. The best thing you can do, share this video. I want this to be a lesson to all of you who want to baselessly smear a political candidate and a major in the armed forces who has served this country for over nearly 2 decades. If you want to smear someone as decorated as Tulsi, who is fighting for what she believes in to defend this country, she truly loves this country, let this be a sweet, sweet, and hilarious lesson for you. Check this out. This is the Granite State poll. This is New Hampshire. It's a very, very important state in the Democratic primary. I want to give a special thank you to Hillary Clinton for these results. We can see that Tulsi Gabbard in February is at 1%. 1%. Oof, that's rough. See, Tulsi actually missed one of the debates because you have to get more than, I think it's 2% in 4 approved polls. And she didn't cut it. She was only getting 1%. Gosh darn it. But then something wonderful happened. Hillary Clinton opened her mouth and said some ridiculous conspiracy nonsense about Tulsi. And naturally, me and many other people were really angry. I mean, like I said, Trump supporters, you get the smear. So you're laughing like first time, huh, guys? But no, we all get it, right? Baseless smear, gloriously backfiring, putting Tulsi at 5%. Seriously, and my understanding is this is a CNN poll, so it's qualifying for the debates. Thank you for guaranteeing she can be on that stage. If you want to claim it's the Russians or the Republicans propping her up, no, it was you making sure everybody for like a week nonstop talked about this. And then when the New York Times tried to come out to protect you, no, it was the Republicans, not the Russians. Y'all only made it worse. Check this out. This puts Tulsi above Tom Steyer, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Beto O'Rourke. I don't know who Joe Sestak is. All these other people have dropped out. But seriously, she's above Booker and Harris now. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. But there is more to go through. This is just one story that I want to highlight where the orange man bad narrative, the insane conspiracies have gone too far. Media, left-wing personalities, you have to simmer down. You know, the way I explain it is that if you put someone out in the street with a polo shirt and a clipboard, and they smile and wave, and they say, hey, would you like to talk about climate change? Most people are going to say no, and they're going to roll their eyes and be like, oh, the environmentalists. But a lot of people stop and say, sure, what's up? I used to do it for a living. Now, what do you think would happen if you took that same person, but instead of giving them a clipboard, you put them in a ratty old duster with holes in it and gave them a sign that said, the end is nigh, and made them shake it up and down violently? No one will talk to them. So when you come out and start screeching about the Russians and Trump and we better listen, yet you lose people and regular Americans and leftists start saying, maybe you're crazy. And then all of a sudden, Tulsi jumps 4 points in the poll. Check this out. Juan Williams, heed Clinton's warning on Tulsi Gabbard. You won't learn your lesson, will you? Well, you know what? We're starting to see the cracks. Now, Matt Taibbi, I don't want to act like he's ever been this die-hard, individual who's blind to the facts. There are many people who just run, they toe the line, they don't pay attention to the facts. No, Matt Taibbi is actually pretty good. He's on the left, I'll show you why. I don't want to accuse him of being overtly left or anything like that, but he's written a book called, he called Trump insane. He's written about hate in media. So he's typically associated with he quotes, he talks to Noam Chomsky. So he's like on the left. I'm not saying he's far left. I'm not saying he's a diehard. I'm just saying he's an urban liberal type. Baghdadi's story reveals divided and broken news media. Now, I'm not going to read through this whole story for you because the gist of it is it's obvious. And Matt Taibbi makes amazing points that you basically have a media. Let me do this. They actually show these things saying all of these points where the media was actually negative about this major historical moment. Listen, a group of very dangerous, violent individuals forming their own country emerged during Obama's years. And it became extremely dangerous and powerful. And in the Trump era, it has come to an end for the most part. And that is good news for the world. But the media wouldn't allow it. They were furious, and they still want to write some kind of smear. Now, I just want to show you this real quick to show you why I'm ascribing leftism to Matt. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but he did write about Insane Clown President, Can't Breathe, which is about Eric Garner, and Hate Inc. So he's Hate Inc. is about MSNBC, Fox News, infotainment, and he talks with Noam Chomsky. So he's not like a crazy individual, but he is more of a liberal type who's saying the media itself is broken. And to me, I will recognize Matt has always been rather astute. So I don't want to act like this is some person having a great epiphany. But listen, we have thought leaders on the left looking at the media and saying, that's gone too far, okay? This was a major moment for our country, for the world, for the Middle East, and for Trump. Come on, are you kidding, media? They called him an astute scholar. Mind-blowing, but check this out. Nate Silver into the fray. He said, it's really amazing how many libs can't even permit Trump to have one good day. Nobody will remember this stuff by Tuesday after U.S. forces take out perhaps the world's most wanted, I'm just going to say it, terrorist. I hope they don't ban my video because of this. But Nate Silver is, according to his Wikipedia, he votes Democrat. He's not like he's kind of a moderate centrist type, but he votes Democrat. This is the point. The point is that the rational-minded, sane, moderate types are finally saying, can you please stop? Okay, the constant, unrelenting orange man bad narrative has finally gone too far. Listen, man, Trump talks with Ukraine. Now there's, the impeachment, this, that, this. Okay, I understand why you're arguing. It's annoying to me. But what just happened, over in the Middle East, that should be clear cut, right? Instead, the media is so unhinged that everything always must be this crazy conspiracy, be it Hillary Clinton smearing Tulsi as a Russian, smearing Trump as a Russian. Listen, she smeared Trump as a Russian 3 years ago, and we had to deal with this investigation because of the nonsense. And then something interesting happens. Trump and the DOJ say we're going to investigate how this insane fringe conspiracy permeated through our government, through our media for years. And the left got mad. And they said, Trump, what is he doing? No, you got to stop, because people aren't having it. In terms of impeachment, I will highlight another individual who is typically associated with the left who does a great job of this. Michael Tracy, always with very good points, in my opinion. He said, you can't question the background or motives of this week's impeachment hero, Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, because of his valiant military service. But it's fine to explicitly declare that Major Gabbard is doing the bidding of Russia. As you can see, these standards are perfectly consistent. I love it. It's about time we started seeing people like Nate Silver just say, like, seriously. Now, here's what's funny. Nate Silver tweeted this. Jamie Lee Curtis deleted the tweet. I believe it's not there anymore. Okay, I looked, it's gone. I think maybe she realized she went too far. And let me tell you a secret, because I got more for you. The secret is these celebrities, I made a video about it a couple months ago. The activism is fake. They're sitting there thinking, what can I do for retweets to expand my brand? You want to talk about grifting? The activists accuse people like me of grifting, of Steven Crowder of grifting, of Dave Rubin of no. We're the principled opposition who are telling you enough. But the grifters are the people like Jamie Lee Curtis, who is, and I hate using this, I really hate saying grifter, but come on. She's going to tweet on negative about Trump and what he's doing at this moment. And you know what? People say, sorry, I'm not going to take that, right? Like, you can't. You've officially gone too far. It would be like, the joke is that Trump could run into a burning building and rescue a box of puppies, and they would complain that, Trump injured the puppies as he ran through the smoke and the puppies breathed in the smoke like it was his fault. If no matter what he does, he's always bad for it. And eventually people are sitting there scratching their head like, wait, how is this one bad? Like, how are you mad about this? And finally, you get Nate Silver popping into this. It's comfortably smug on Twitter. And Nate Silver, verified high-profile editor-in-chief of 538, pops in and says they can't even give him one good day, and she deletes the tweet. But there's more. There's more. Check this out. This is from The Nation. The Nation is pretty far left. But Aaron Matei has been very principled and, I'll say it again, astute on the points pertaining to Russiagate, saying, uncovering Russiagate's origins could prevent future scandals. There are legitimate grounds to probe the intelligence officials behind the all-consuming Trump-Russia affair. Cracks are forming. Now listen, Michael Tracy, Aaron, Matt Taibbi, they've been pretty good at calling out inconsistencies and not falling in tribal lines. They seem like very principled individuals. So again, I don't want to make it seem like all of a sudden these were diehard, anti-Trump people who all of a sudden woke up one day like, oh no, what's happening? No. These people have been pretty spot on. Aaron's been pretty good. Glenn Greenwald and Michael Tracy have been some of the best in calling out the fake news, mainstream conspiracy nonsense. Glenn Greenwald, in fact, talked about how MSNBC wouldn't book him because he wouldn't toe the line talking about the Russia conspiracy. But you can see that the media has tried consistently to push a narrative about conspiracies, about foreign threats, about Russia. They're angry. So the reason why Aaron had to write this story, that Russia, the investigation into Russiagate is a good thing, is because the left is freaking out, saying, no, you can't. What is Trump doing? He's trying to weaponize us for political reasons. And here's Aaron saying, like, but we should be challenging these intelligence agencies. What's really fascinating to me is that throughout my whole life, all of these left-wing activists were always criticizing the FBI, the CIA, the NSA. I mean, we had the huge leaks from Edward Snowden talking about what the NSA was doing, and we were saying the intelligence agencies are going rogue. What's Trump saying now? He's quite literally saying the intelligence agencies are going rogue. And let's bring this back. Let's bring this full circle. What do we get? For years, they say there is no deep state. It's a conspiracy theory. Trump's just got it out for the intelligence agencies. And then the New York Times writes a couple stories saying there is a deep state, and it's just good principled individuals resisting a corrupt president. So now they're actually, so here's the thing. The idea of the deep state, some people, it's a conspiracy that there's the permanent government working to stop and overthrow and control. But in reality, It's actually much more simple than that. It's not a conspiracy. It's just a lot of people who work in the intelligence agencies who have Trump derangement syndrome, probably because of the media, who then fuel that same media and push a narrative. And it looks like it's a concerted effort, but it's actually more likely a standalone complex. But you get this media pushing this nonstop. The New York Times now saying, well, there is a deep state. Okay, here's the thing. Back to my first point. Why was it that the New York Times quietly changed the story? We all know Hillary Clinton was accusing Russia of interfering. Just listen to it. The audio was released. This was one of the most insane attempts at gaslighting I've ever seen. It's like the media narrative is falling apart and they're struggling to maintain their control over what we're thinking about. I'm not saying like a conspiracy. I'm saying the New York Times usually sets the trend in what we talk about. And now they're struggling. They can't. Normally, New York Times would have been like, no, we believe it was the Republicans. And they'd change it and everyone would just follow suit. Today, I'm sorry, it's too late. The story is out. Hillary Clinton, in the recording, said Russia loves her, Russia's doing X, Y, and Z. The most honest interpretation of what Hillary Clinton said is that she believes Trump and the Russians are one in the same. That's seriously the most honest interpretation. So if they change the story, why would the New York Times do this? Here's the crazy part. The correction they issued, they say that it was in response to Hillary Clinton's staffer. So let's read this. They say an earlier version of this article described incorrectly an element of Hillary Clinton's recent comments about Tulsi Gabbard. While Mrs. Clinton said that Democratic presidential candidate was the favorite of the Russians, an aide later confirmed the reference was to Miss Gabbard. Mrs. Clinton's remark about the grooming of a third-party candidate in 2020 race was a response to a question about the Republicans, not about the Russians. Oh, there it is. And there it is. Hillary Clinton's aide told us this is what it's really about, and we said okay, and went in and changed it without issuing a correction. Why would the New York Times do that? The narrative exists, whether or not you want to believe it's true. But I tell you what, it backfires in such a glorious fashion, it puts a smile on my face. I am happy to see that in New Hampshire now, we're looking at Bernie Sanders number 1, then Warren, then Biden, Buttigieg, Yang, Klobuchar, and then Gabbard. And guess what? Klobuchar and Yang are tied with Tulsi right now for 5th place. Thank you for that. So I do have some other stuff I want to pull up. I can't because YouTube will get in trouble, but it's essentially one of the stories I want to highlight specifically was how this guy, Max Boot, wrote that Baghdadi was not a coward, and this resulted in a massive backlash, forcing him to delete the tweets. This story is another really, really good example of people on the left saying, no more. We get it, okay? The orange man is bad, but he is not that bad. It's like, dude, there are presidents and politicians I don't like. I don't freak out about it, right? There are people I disagree with. Like I disagree with Dan Crenshaw on a lot of things, but I actually really like the guy. I think he's a great dude. He seems like a really, really, really solid guy. Trump has bad character and bad policies I disagree with, and it combines to make me say, yeah, orange man's kind of bad. But he's not that bad. Like what happened the other day, the announcement, I'm like, hey, well, you got to hand it to him. You know, when good things happen, you say good things happen. I have no problem saying for AOC, when she comes out with good policy, for Elizabeth Warren, you come out with good policy and good ideas on principle, and I will give you praise. And that goes for AOC and it goes for Trump as well. But a lot of these people are in a tribe, and all they care about is clicks. Now again, I want to go back to that point I made about the celebrities. These personalities, they're in this bubble where everything about Trump is always bad and nothing can ever be good. Think about what that does to you. In reality, we know that some things are good and some things are bad. Like, hey, chocolate ice cream tastes great, but too much is kind of bad for you. I have no problem saying that. Imagine living in the world where you were not allowed to criticize unhealthy food. And we're going that direction with fat shaming and all that stuff. Like, don't you dare criticize unhealthy habits. No, not everything is perfect. Not everything is pure evil. It's not a binary world. There is nuance. Trump can be bad, but he can also do good things. Trump can be good, and he can also do bad things. And that's the conversation we need to have if we're going to find what's good and move forward. But I'll tell you what, a lot of people, they have a threshold where eventually you move too far and then snap. They say, enough. Tweets get deleted, stories get corrected. It was a bipartisan outrage when the Washington Post referred to Baghdadi as an austere scholar. Everybody was shocked. What? They're so desperate to push the narrative, and the narrative is falling apart. We can see from many of these principled leftists calling it out, their narrative, their desperate attempt to always make everything about Trump it's not based on principle. It's based on what they think will get clicks and build their following. But in the end, there's real tangible results to the insanity. And I love it. I have donated to Tulsi Gabbard. The principal reason is to get her on the debate stage so that she can talk about core issues like war that aren't being highlighted. Nobody talks about it when she's not there. So that's what my support is for. I'm a realist. I don't think she'll win, but I love tangible results. I hope you can all agree with me that whether just by supporting Tulsi and being happy she's doing well, or sheer schadenfreude, you are happy to see that these dishonest media tactics backfire and result in something positive. You reap what you sow. It's almost kind of like, it feels like justice. You know what I mean? That you just want to believe that if you do good and you're good to other people, good things follow. But too often in this world, we're faced with the fact that sometimes bad people get ahead and the cheaters win. But in this instance, at least this instance, we can see you want to smear a major in the National Guard, a decorated veteran who is serving her country. This is what you get. She rises in the ranks. You have given her tons of press, and now more people get to learn about who she is and what she stands for. Thank you very much for that. I'll leave it there. Stick around. Next segment's coming up at youtube.com/TimCastNews. It is a different channel at 6 p.m., and I will see you all there.